Hi, in this tutorial I'm gonna show you how you can implement a splash screen in your Android app. I will show you how you can implement this in your normal Android project in Android Studio it's just the native Android project or in a Flutter project. First of all, we will start with a native or normal Android projects. Most tutorials I see online will show you how you can implement a splash screen, but basically it will need an extra activity which is start after the application is actually started. A splash screen is basically a window that show up before the activity start. So the operating system need to do some stuff before the Android or before the mobile app run. But the tutorials or online are what will they do eventually? They will create an extra activity which will show up after the Android app has been started. And this the official documentation. You can see it here. So let's get started. I will start with a normal Android project, and then we will go to the Flutter project. It's really simple and it works for both, and it's pretty much the same way. So let's create a new project. I will select a KM project. You can select empty compose activity, or Kotlin multi-platform app will just create empty compose activity with the iOS model or the shared model, but that is really what the video about. So let's click next, and I'm gonna select 21. This is the minimum SCDK requirements, so you need to use compile SCDK 31 and minimum SCDK to 21. The application name really doesn't matter. I will name it like splash screen video. And by the way, we will use the new splash screen API, and I will explain this in a moment. I will click finish, and let's get started. So I will wait when the build will finish. I already downloaded everything before. It just need a moment to build the project. Now it started. I'm gonna start the emulator, and I will go to the Android app model in here in Java, and this is the code. Let's select the code tab. Let's go to the resources, to the styles. I already told you the splash screen is basically a window that show up before the application started, and on create will be called after the main activity or the activity or the starting activity will start it, and then you will set your content. So the main activity will be started after the application has been started. So there's no point to create an extra activity just to show a splash screen. What will do, it will create another activity that starts after the splash screen has been started. So how do we create a splash screen? The old way was that we go here in the style, and we will create a new item which is a window background, and we will create a drawable file that have our icon and all that stuff. But that's really not the best way. It's buggy, it's not efficient, it's not really the official way, and the Android system doesn't know it is a splash screen, and it doesn't mean to be a splash screen. So we will use the new way, which is created for Android 12 API, and don't worry, you can use it in older versions since their compatibility dependency which you can use it to implement a splash screen for older versions. So we will go to our build.gradle for the Android model, and here we will this one, but let me change the syntax to the Android to the Kotlin Gradle version, since this Kotlin version and not the Groovy version. I will create sync, and there's here a little bug which I should have shows a normal Android activity to avoid this bug, but that doesn't matter. We will close this window. And how do we now implement the splash screen? First of all, and we will create a new style, but I will create it in a new file, a new XML file. I will call it splash. Splash.xml. Sorry. And I will go here to the resources. I will create a new style, theme.splashscreen.starting. Yeah, just like that. And we will go to the manifest, and we will change this to this theme.starting.upstarting. Yeah, and here we will create a new item, which is post splash screen theme. And when the Android app starts, it will go to this theme, which is for by the way, you need to call parent splash screen theme splash screen. We'll call it our up theme just to avoid any bug. Okay. Here we will after the window or the splash screen has been finished, or the Android app has been started, it will need to navigate to the new theme, which is for the app theme. So we cannot really know how much time it needs to takes to the app run, because we have different devices, and all the devices may have more apps, and the resources really different from device to another and to the user usage. So it's take different time based on the user usage and device the device to the device model. And here we need to tell the splash screen API which theme it's need to go after the app has been started. I will use the app theme, which is this one, and we need also an animated splash screen icon, and here it will need from you a drawable image vector, either an animated one or normal one. So even if you don't want an animated icon, you need to type it like that. I will go to the resources. We don't have the drawable, so I will just create it. Android resources directory, and drawable, this one. And I don't have an adaptive drawable image vector, so I will just use the default image vector from the material library. So I will choose in any icon, like in shopping cart, something like that. Where's this? Maybe this. And maybe you can use any color, it doesn't really matter. Like this one. Okay. Oh, doesn't look good, but that doesn't matter. So I will finish and tell it then to use the drawable image vector, which is shopping cart. Sorry, it is actually an animated Windows splash screen animated icon from the support library, to use it on all different SCDK for the old versions. For the Android 12, you don't need this support library, but for older versions, you will need it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We will restart the app, and we can also change the background color. It doesn't scale correctly. We will fix that in a moment. I will go here under the drawable image and create a new group. I will put the path here, and for the scale X 20, scale Y 22, it is 20. For the scale Y it's also 20, and pivot X it is 0.5, and it's also for the Y. Let's start it and let's see if it does work or scale correctly. No, it doesn't. I mess up with the value. Let's swap out it. Let's rerun and let's see if it does work. Yeah, it's work pretty much work correctly. And yeah, for your image and for a real app, you need to use your logo. Yeah, just to create a drawable, either animated drawable or normal drawable, and you need to support it on different device sizes. I don't have an adaptive icons, so I will just use this simple one. And yeah, if you want to use different settings for dark mode, you can also do that very simply by overriding this splash screen with the dark one. Where if you need to change this splash screen with different sizes, or if you want to use different sizes for different configurations, you can also do that very easily here. And it just work very easily. You don't have to do any extra steps like we did it in the past, and you need to do it like this. And that's basically how you create a splash screen, and you can follow the official documentation. It show up very well, and it's explained very well, and how to use all that stuff. And it doesn't load. Let me refresh it. Here is the old one, and here's the new one. Let's click on create on migrate an existing splash screen. And yeah, but I forget one simple thing, which is you need to install you need to call an extension function from the component activity, which is install splash screen, and you need to call it before the call here in install, and you need to call it before the super call of on create method. Let's see if it does work. This is used to define some configurations. If you need to make the splash screen delay for some time, if you need to load some stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Set keep alive, let's see keep on screen condition, but we do not need it here. It does work. So I will show up how you can do that for a Flutter project. It's pretty much the same. I will close the projects, and I will go. You can either create a new Flutter project by using the terminal, which and yeah, by the way, you need to upgrade Flutter to the latest version before you continue. And you can create a new Flutter project, but I will just use an existing Flutter project, which is this one. And yeah, And so how you can implement a splash screen in a Flutter project? The simple answer is you can't. And you have to do the splash screen configurations or the implementation for every platform, for the Android and the iOS, because the way how does the Flutter work, it will create a new project for the Android and iOS, and it will all what it will do, it will ask the operating system for a blank window, and it will render the UI pixel by pixel by its own engine. So the app and the Flutter app will start after the original Android or iOS app will start. So you need to implement this for both platform and not in Dart or a Flutter framework code. So you need to open the Android module. If you want for iOS, I can create a simple or separated tutorial, but I will not do it for now. So I will go here and open it in an Android Studio, or open the Android project as a Android project and not as a Flutter project. Let's wait for a moment until the build Gradle task finish. It does build it successfully. So we will go here to the Java folder, and before we do this, we need to go to the Gradle scripts here under the Android model. Not this one, sorry, and the app one, maybe. Yeah, this one. Here you need to upgrade the compile SCDK version to at least 31. It does use the dynamic Flutter SDK version, compile SDK version, and all that stuff. So this is why I told you in the beginning, you need to update your Flutter. You need to update the Flutter tool before continue. And for the main SDK version, you need to use 21 and click sync now. But before we continue, you need to go here under the dependencies, and I will paste it. Sorry, I will paste it here, and you don't have to convert it to a Kotlin syntax, because by default Flutter create a build.gradle with a groovy syntax, with a groovy version, so you can use a groovy syntax. So I will click here sync now, and I will go to the throwable, I mean the values here in the styles, and I will create a new splash.xml file here, and I will add it to the source control, and here under the resources I will create the style, which is called apptheme.splashscreen.starting, and the parent will be theme.splashscreen. And we will have two items, which is the window splash screen animated icon, and the second item will be post splash screen theme, which is the new theme that will be used, which is the normal theme. This is the old way. How do we do the this is the old way how you can use the splash screen, but it's not recommended anymore, since it's not very efficient and doesn't need to be a splash screen. So we will I don't know, maybe use the launch background or any animated drawable vector. I will just use this one here. Okay. and I will go to in the manifest, in the main activity, sorry, in the startup theme. Where does it? Here. And instead of using the normal theme, we will use the app theme dot starting, this one. And yeah, that's all what we, pretty much all what we need. Let's make sure that it does work. Yeah, that's the normal theme. Let's go here in the main activity, and this is the Flutter activity actually. Let's override the onCreate here, and before the not this one, sorry, we have a different type of onCreate. I will use this one, and before the supple call I will call a install splash screen, and it should work, but I'm not sure if we have any errors. And yeah, it does work. The splash screen just worked just fine. Let's delete the in the style. Let's delete the or comment the launch theme. We don't need it anymore. We can comment it here. Also, we can also comment it here in the dark and light mode. Oh, sorry, where does it need it? In the where? Oh, it's use the. We actually need use the. Oh, actually we need to use the splash screen dot starting here. I didn't notice that. We need to do it here also for the application and the activity. Let's restart, and it should work just fine, but I'm not sure if it will work, and it doesn't work. There's actually a little bug. You know what, I will just use a different drawable here, sorry. In the drawable I will just use a one from the material library, shopping bag maybe. Yeah, this one, and we need to edit it in the source control. I will edit it later, and I will go here and use the baseline shopping bag, and we need to scale it to work correctly. But that is really not the best way for an adaptive icon, but it doesn't matter here. And I will just use a random value here, and I will rerun the app, and it should work. And it does work, but we maybe need a different color, so I will delete it, not save delete, and create. I don't know why the shortcut doesn't work correctly, but I will create it again, and yeah, maybe just any random color, and yeah, I created here. I created it here, and let's rerun the app, and let's see if it does work. And it does work. And that was pretty much anything in the video. Thank you for watching. and see you in the next video.